Welcome back, and joining me now, as always, on a Monday is radio legend Ray Hadley. Great to see you again.
Sharri, nice to be with you. Congratulations, by the way, on your scoop with the Israeli Prime Minister.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Many people said to me after the interview, how did that young woman get that bloke? And I said, well, she probably asked for an interview and he responded.
Asked about 1,000 times.
You've got to win one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
But well done, well done.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Now, former New South Wales Premier and former Foreign Minister Bob Carr has made some outrageous comments. He's pushing the stereotypical trope of Jewish influence in our country. Have a look.
The Israel Jewish lobby in Australia is a foreign influence operation. It's designed to put the interests of Israel above the interests of Australia and its foreign policy. No one else has an operation as well funded. No other country has an operation with offices in every Australian capital city. No one else organises donations to attempt to elevate its influence in the way the Jewish lobby does in Australia.
I mean, I think this is really dangerous, Ray, because, you know, I even hate the term Jewish lobby. The Jewish organisations represent the interests of Australian Jews.
Look, I used to have some wonderful battles with Mr Carr when he was Premier of New South Wales. I think at best I can call him delusional over this. Now, let's leave the Jewish debate aside because we're not going to convince him otherwise. But he talks about foreign influence. He's been a cheerleader for China since ever he left politics and before. Now, we've had recent events where people are being arrested in Australia for spying on religious organisations that originally came from China, and yet he hasn't marched on the bridge about the human rights in China. They kill more people via execution in a year than the rest of the world combined. The Uyghurs are treated dreadfully. People are incarcerated without trial, and the judges are told that they've got to follow the company line. In other words, we put them before you, they've got to be found guilty. So the credibility of Bob Carr on this matter in relation to the Jewish lobby, they're there for all to see. The Jewish Board of Deputies of various organisations are there and they're loud and proud about it. They're not spying, they're not here doing the work of the communist Chinese government like the Chinese spies are, who you never hear a word. And he will say, there was a defamation case with Winston Peters a number of years ago in New Zealand. He said, oh, I'm always tough on the Chinese. Pig's backside. He's an apologist for the Chinese. It's a bloody disgrace, Sharri, a disgrace that he should be talking in that manner and talking on YouTube to some Palestinian talk fest.
I agree with you. The hypocrisy is staggering. Just to be abundantly clear, we don't want any legal issues. You are not suggesting at all that Bob Carr was in any way involved in foreign influence or spying. You were just saying he doesn't call out those issues. No. And that's the hypocrisy of this.
Well, and the other thing is, we would never ever describe someone as prominent as Mr Carr as an anti-Semite.
We don't say that.
No, we don't say that. But what they now say, these Labor politicians, he's no longer a Labor politician, what they say is they're anti-Israel.
They're anti-Israel, exactly.
Anti-Israel.
And he is anti-Israel indeed. Now, I spoke earlier in the show about the pro-Palestinian protests on the weekend. Well, the Herald got hold of this confidential briefing by New South Wales Police, and it showed that more than $11 million has been spent on the protest. That's just in New South Wales alone. Since 2023, $1 million for the Harbour Bridge protest. I mean, Ray, this is enough, isn't it? Why should taxpayers be paying for these protests that are dividing our country?
Well, if you go to a sporting event this weekend, or any event, but if you go to a large sporting event, an NRL game, for instance, or an AFL game, and they require further officers to be on duty because they have a warning there may be someone playing up, it's called user pays. So the sport has to pay for the extra officers to be on call. Now, thousands of officers were called to the Sydney Harbour Bridge from all parts of the state and all parts of the city to control the crowd. $11 million over that period of time. No one's asked the Palestinian protesters or those who organise it to stump up the money for the extra coppers.
They should.
Of course they should. And I saw a thing earlier in Andrew's program where the only arrest, and I think it was in Brisbane, correct me if I'm wrong, was for a bloke waving an Australian flag and saying, this is not right, you know, protesting against the Palestinian march, probably, you know, on the bridge there in Queensland, in Brisbane. And yet he's carted away by the Queensland police. The bloke with Hamas flag
Shocking.
Now, as you said in your program, now they're chasing him.
Yeah.
It's the age-old story with New South Wales and Queensland Police. I'm not talking about the rank and file, it's their bosses.
Yeah.
They see these things happening and then they say, we're investigating, we're going to find this person. Well, you had him. He was standing there in front of you.
It's obviously the direction not to touch them on the day. I mean, it must
100%.
be. It's got to be. Now, I saw on the Daily Telegraph today you had a lot to say about this housing plan. This is Chris Minns, New South Wales Premier, said he's going to put a heavy rail station in Woollahra, not far off the Edgecliff station. I don't know the exact distance. I actually drove past the site today in Woollahra, and there are no high-rise buildings anywhere near it. It's all residential or houses or small apartment buildings. So this will be completely out of character, and there's already a train station at Edgecliff.
Well, look, the Premier, Chris Minns, has had 3 shots at this. He wanted Rosehill Racecourse, which is the obvious place. It's in the centre of Sydney, just east of Parramatta. And the members voted against it. A few thousand members voted against it. He could use specific legislation to acquire it legally if he had the bottle to do it. So that was knocked on the head. So all of a sudden he said, I won't touch Rosehill. So the next point of contact is Glebe Island Port. Now, Glebe Island Port is on the foreshores of Sydney Harbour. It's a very important port strategically for defence and for other things. So all of a sudden they drop off that. But the point about both it and Woollahra, he talks about aspirational Australians and he wants young people to have a future, to buy in Sydney. Does anyone really believe that a young person just married can afford an apartment at Glebe Island overlooking the Harbour Bridge? They'd start at about 3.5 to 4 million. And I'm told in Woollahra, the people in the 800-metre radius from the revised station, their property values will treble. I think in Rays Bay, the house prices went in one area from 6 million to 15 million. And then the apartments that will be in Woollahra, if it happens, the cost will be 4, 5, 6 million. They won't be selling them to young Australians. It'll be wealthy Australians and international buyers.
Exactly.
It's a pie. I said today, it's a pie in the sky. It's 10,000 apartments in Woollahra, and they're doing it on the North Shore as well, along the main rail northern line there, where they're knocking over beautiful Federation homes to build these apartment blocks. Look, we're a very big state, and we're bound on the east coast by the sea, Chris. There's plenty of land in the southwest and the northwest if you wish to give them the infrastructure. And then they can buy a home not for 4 or 5 million, they can actually buy a home for under 1.5 million.
But also the federal government is, of course, we're out of time. The federal government has given this problem to New South Wales because of the high immigration rate. And now there's the housing crisis is exacerbated. So, I mean, it's a mess at both levels. Ray?
I talk too much. We always run out of time.
No, it is so great to have. I love you coming on the show. Thank you so much.
Sharri, good to see you.
Voice of reason.
Thank
Miss
you.
you.
All the best.
So I'll see you next Monday.